Our first guest tonight says that it is clear each day that the Obama administration treated our national security like a political campaign. Joining us now, Congressman Brad Wenstrup, a member of the House Armed Services and Veterans Affairs Committees. He also served in Iraq as a combat surgeon, is an Army Reserve officer. Congressman, good to have you with us. You have listened to the testimony. You have looked at redacted documents, many of the same documents that we see in the clear today because of the perseverance and the insistence of Judicial Watch, which exercised its rights under the Freedom of Information Act and produced these unredacted emails. What is your reaction?
Well, first of all, that's in the American spirit to try and get to know the truth. Americans love honesty and they want to know the truth, especially from their leaders. So it's disappointing because obviously from that message, that email message, what we got as the American people was disingenuous at best. And we know from testimony that General Ham and General Dempsey and Leon Panetta were saying this was a terrorist attack from the get-go, and the nation was told something else. And that's very disappointing, but it is also playing around with our national security. It's not fair to us as American people, it's not fair to those who serve, and it's certainly not fair to those that gave their lives that day.
You know, Congressman, the Rhodes email becomes even more significant, it seems, because in congressional testimony, the former deputy CIA director, Michael Morrell, testified it was Rice who linked the video to the Benghazi attack. Morrell said the video was not part of the CIA analysis. How do you square that up? How can it be squared up?
Well, I don't see how you can, and it's going to take us to continue to persist to try and find out what actually happened. There's definitely a void in knowing what actually happened that night, what was said, and then what transpired. And it is somewhat amazing to me that Susan Rice, who comes out and says this for a week or so, is later elevated to National Security Advisor. And I think that if we have someone in that position that's going to send that message out, when clearly our military and leaders have come out and said this is a terrorist attack, we've got some issues to deal with here.
You've got a lot of issues, it seems, to deal with this administration. As you noted, the American people both want and deserve, and let me underline, deserve the truth from any administration. The Congress has been, I think, relentless in its search for that truth through various committees, but at the same time, unsuccessfully. We have watched a successful stonewall of more than 18 months since that Benghazi attack, across an array of scandals, whether it be the IRS targeting, whether it be Fast and Furious, whether it be Benghazi, the other scandals as well. This administration has successfully told the Congress of the United States to go to hell. And with a complicit national liberal media, there does not seem to be any way for you all to break through that wall to the truth. Please disabuse me of that perception.
Well, no, it's a true perception. I was maybe 12 years old when Watergate happened, but you know what I remember from that time, Lou? I remembered that Republicans and Democrats alike wanted to know the truth, and so did the media. And you know the history very well. That was media-driven to get to the truth, and President Nixon had to resign. And that was a bipartisan effort, or nonpartisan, if you will, because Americans love the truth. We're seeing it at a different time today. We'll see how much play those emails get on the other networks compared to you putting it out. When the story first broke about the testimony where General Ham said we called it a terrorist attack from the get-go, very few people from the mainstream media talked about it. Matter of fact, I don't think they did at all. But I was on your show talking about it and other hosts on Fox News, but that was it.
Congressman, there's so much to have explained here by this administration. But now it seems that it's critical that there be an explanation for why there was all of that redaction in the very documents that Congress was given. Who made those decisions about the redactions and why? And secondly, I want to turn now to another issue that has just about everyone's blood boiling, and that is 40 veterans dying while they waited for treatment through the Phoenix Veterans Affairs Health System. What is being done, and does somebody need to go to jail here?
Well, I believe someone should. There's certainly a lot to be said about basically the abuse of the system. You know, this would never happen in a private enterprise, because you would be trying to do everything you could to get as many patients in and seen with quality care as you can. The VA is not held to that standard. We had a hearing, and I asked all the VA administration physicians that sit there, I said, have any of you ever been in private practice where you actually had to worry about customer service and getting things done on time and really taking care of people in a quality fashion, in a timely fashion? Not one of them had been in private practice where they had to be in the black. And so we're not efficient. And I could give you example after example where people from my specialty in the VA, they might see 15 patients in a day, and in our private practice we'll see 45 to 50. And we're not rushing them through, we're just more efficient.
And efficient, you talk about customer service. For me, it's simply patient care and respect for our veterans, 40 of whom died because they were on a waiting list, and a concealed wait time record at the VA. Surely somebody has to be held accountable for this. We're out of time, but very quickly, if you would, Congressman.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it'd be one thing if they came out and said, we have a problem here, we're not getting to all the patients we need to see, but they didn't do that.
Congressman, it's always good to have you with us. We appreciate it. Brad Wenstrup, Dr. Wenstrup, Congressman Wenstrup, we thank you so much.
You bet, thank you.
Apparently, more than a